This is a sports catastrophe production. Hey there, hello there. It's Jeff Cutastrophe and welcome you to another sports catastrophe on this day. And on this day, March 20th, 2016. It wasn't really the first day of spring, but hey, it was spring madness, as in March Madness. Hey, you know what? It's another March Madness one. Why not? Anyway, the two teams you see here are Northern Iowa and Texas A&M. Not really powerful football schools. Well, they're football schools in their own right. Northern Iowa in IAA and Texas A&M in the main group, IA. But basketball, you don't really think of Texas A&M having superstars except for Kendrick Perkins or AC Law the fourth. And you and I basically are known for being Cinderellas with Ali Farouk Manesh with his three-pointer to St. Kansas in 2010 in the second round. And a lot of people cannot forget the Kevin Harlan call. On the first day of spring, number one has fallen, that being Kansas. But anyway, Northern Iowa, 6 years later, in 2016, were a decent team. They would face off against the Texas A&M Aggies. The 2016 tournament was full of goodness, in a sense. So, anyway, hope I can get some stuff done here. Oh, here we go. The 2016 title was huge. Upsets were the story of the tournament. Number 15, Middle Tennessee shocked number 2, Michigan State, becoming the 15th seed to beat a 2 seed. And spoiler alert, that is not the last time, as 2021 has served a 15-2. Oral Roberts, or Ned Flanders University, as I call it, against Ohio State. Here's the weird thing. At least 1, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15 seed won a first round game for the third time ever. So basically, there was at least an upset from each number. A number 8 team, a number 7 team, a number 6 team, a number 5 team, a number 4 team, a number 3 team, and a number 2 team lost in the first round. At least one of them did. Villanova would beat North Carolina in the championship game on Chris Jenkins' three-pointer, saying that giving Villanova its second national title and first since my birth year of 1985. So anyway, there was a lot of notable things going on. Stony Brook and Cal Bakersfield made their first NCAA tournament appearances. Yale made its first NCAA appearance since 1962. And Green Bay and Oregon State made appearances first time since the 90s. Yale finally won a tournament game. They beat Baylor. Hawaii got its first NCAA tournament win by defeating California. Wow. And Arkansas Little Rock won its first tournament game in 30 years, and Middle Tennessee first time in 27 years. And of course, as everyone said, Middle Tennessee beat Michigan State 15-2. And more than 1/3 of people picked Michigan State to make the Final Four. Stephen F. Austin took down West Virginia 14-3, making the fourth straight tournament that a 14 beat a 3. And Syracuse was the first number 10 seed in history to make the Final Four by winning the Midwest Regional. But there were 3 lower seeds, all number 11 to advance to the Final Four. Kansas basically extended its tournament appearances streak, tying North Carolina's. And yeah, of course. So anyway, let's talk about A&M and Northern Iowa. They were put in the West Regional, the region that Oregon was supposed to crush everyone in, as it seemed. In Oklahoma City, A&M crushed Green Bay 92-65. However, the late game was the big story, as Northern Iowa would take on Texas. And yes, this was the day after I came home from helping my brother move from Milton to Mississauga. So anyway, Texas tied it up quickly. And then Northern Iowa, they still had a timeout, but they didn't use the timeout. And so all they did was basically just go down the court. Paul Jesperson, he's went up from half court. It goes in, and Northern Iowa takes down number 6 Texas. And yes, I picked Northern Iowa in that game. Obviously, because like you and I always makes an upset, and I didn't feel Texas. So anyway, Northern Iowa would take on Texas A&M in a double overtime classic. The winner would take on Oklahoma in the Sweet 16. So anyway, Northern Iowa and A&M. Northern Iowa had a double-digit lead with a minute left, and almost all but certainty, 99% of the time, the team that with a double-digit lead with 1 minute left wins the game. Boy, howdy, was I wrong. Northern Iowa choked that lead with terrible inbounding and basically letting A&M score points at will, all willy-nilly. So Northern Iowa at least didn't lose the game in regulation, but in double overtime, A&M won. So that meant Texas A&M would move on to face Oklahoma. Thankfully, though, Oklahoma did win that game and actually won a trip to the Final Four by beating the 1 seed Oregon Ducks. Oklahoma would then get crushed by Villanova 95-51. It wasn't even close. Well, Buddy Hield was on that Oklahoma team, if you must know. It was basically the most one-sided Final Four game ever. Villanova against Oklahoma 95-51. 44 points, wow. In fact, the Wildcats shot 71%. That is the second best shooting percentage by a team in a Final Four game. Ironically enough, the Wildcats of Villanova had the highest, 78.6% in the 85 final against Georgetown. This was amazing. North Carolina would beat Syracuse. Syracuse was supposed to be the Cinderella team, yet they lost by fewer points against their opponent than Oklahoma did. They only lost by 17. And Villanova won with that very close game at the end. It was basically one of the greatest finals games in history. But anyway, yeah, you and I, can you believe the chokery and all that? I remember being in a pool, and then basically my commissioner said, okay, well, you and I, you can chalk that up with a W. I did, and then all of a freaking sudden, they lost. So he basically said that we can make any change when we get one that we can change any pick and all that in the region. So basically, I picked Oklahoma to beat Texas A&M. And it worked. Anyway, so yeah, you and I did okay, I guess. But you know what? You got to finish what you start. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. I do.